Do you find social situations awkward and never know what to say to girls? Would you like to learn how to become that charming, socially energetic guy around women instead of the guy who becomes shy and introverted around them? In this video, I'm going to outline a step-by-step program so you can eliminate social awkwardness and become the kind of man who charms women on autopilot with his magnetic personality. And most importantly, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a way to make sure you do not quit and you stick with this, so it'll never be a problem ever again. Awkwardness around women comes from three things. One, your subconscious brain lacks experiences to reference, so it's unsure of what to do and unsure of what's going to happen. Two, you give too much of a fuck what other people think of you, and thus your self-esteem and self-confidence is impacted by this. And three, you don't have momentum. You don't have social momentum and you aren't in a flow state. Ironically, your fear of being socially awkward is making you more socially awkward. So we're going to systematically eliminate these three problems we just outlined with a series of exercises. The first exercise, for 90 days straight, I want you to compliment every unattractive woman that you see. Old, fat, ugly, compliment all of them. I want these just to be random, throwaway compliments. That dress looks fantastic on you, man. You've got such a lovely smile. Have a fantastic day. And then move on. You see, when we give people compliments, genuine compliments too, I want you to try and make these as genuine as possible. You feel good about yourself, or at least you should, unless you're a complete fucking psychopath. But when we make other people feel good, we feel good about ourselves. What we're training our brain to do here is we're training it to associate being social with feeling good about ourselves. Specifically, we're training our brain to feel good about ourselves from being social with women. This might be easiest to do if you're crossing someone on the sidewalk, for example. You're crossing someone in a supermarket, right? Very easy. Just throw away a compliment and carry on doing what you're doing. You're not going to sit there and expect a reply. You're not going to sit there and engage with, I mean, if you want to, go right ahead. If she starts talking to you, you can keep chatting or whatever and have a great day. If it's an old lady, maybe she'll introduce you to her hot granddaughter or something. The idea is you're training your brain to, one, feel good about being social with women, and two, to not have any outcome dependence and expect anything from an interaction with a woman. Those are the first two things we're training with this first exercise. Exercise number 2, for 90 days straight, I want you to put yourself in a socially embarrassing situation deliberately. For example, deliberately take too long at the checkout line and hold everybody up on purpose. Take forever to get your cash out. Be obnoxiously long in doing a very, very simple, basic transaction. If you're a decent human being, you'll probably feel somewhat awkward and anxious about this. Another example of something awkward you could do. Deliberately hold up traffic to parallel park somewhere. Like, take ages until their cars behind you are like honking at you. Most people don't want to feel that social stigma, that social pressure from other people, that shame and that guilt from other people. Let me give you another example of something you can do. Stand at a busy intersection and scream at the top of your lungs, "I love Legos." Something so stupid that it is going to get everyone's attention, and you're going to initially, with the first time you do it, you might feel that little pang of like, oh my God, I'm such a dickhead, everyone hates me, I'm going to die from embarrassment, right? The idea of what we're trying to do here is we're making you immune to embarrassment and awkwardness, basically. We're giving your brain a bunch of experiences of doing something socially awkward, doing something that others might shame you for, and nothing bad has happened. You see, the problem is that your brain thinks, oh, if I'm embarrassed or people yell at me or people try to shame me or guilt me or whatever, like, I'm gonna die. Your brain thinks you're gonna die. You need to train it to understand that nothing bad is going to happen. It doesn't fucking matter. This is how you learn to not give a fuck what other people think of you. You just have to put yourself through enough social situations until your brain realizes, oh, we've done way worse than this. Like, nothing bad could possibly happen here. Let me give you a few more fun examples of shit you can do in case you're running out of ideas yourself. As you walk past strangers down the sidewalk, put your hand up to high five them and see how many of them you can get to high five you back. If you're eating in a crowded restaurant, pick out a stranger across the room and awkwardly wave at them and make eye contact with them until they wave back at you, or at least until they see you waving at them, as though you know them, but you obviously don't actually know them. I want you to use that kind of own internal feeling of resistance as a compass for exercises like this and things that you should be doing that are putting you outside of your regular comfort zone. Also, you see how I was laughing as I'm describing some of these exercises to you? I want you to get to the point where these things are fucking hilariously funny for you. They're no longer awkward or intimidating or uncomfortable. You've done these things so many times that you find them funny and enjoyable. And this is going to transform the way you interact with not just women, but people in general. The ability to not give a fuck what other people think of you is a total superpower. While you're here, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe if you want some more practical, no bullshit dating, relationship, and sex advice. This channel is chock-a-block full of videos for that. Exercise number 3. For another 90 days straight, you're going to some kind of social nightlife venue for a minimum of 10 minutes by yourself, not drinking, and you're starting one random conversation. I want you to do that for 90 days straight. What are the goals with this exercise? 1, it's to get comfortable being alone and realize that no one actually gives a fuck about you. Everyone is thinking about themselves. 2, you're going to learn to be comfortable in social environments without using alcohol as a crutch, because most people need to drink to engage in these social situations. I want you to be able to not rely on that crutch. And the other secret thing here we want to trigger is I want you to get to the point where you're actually kind of bored. And you're so bored that the idea of starting a conversation with a random stranger is more exciting than it is terrifying. Tip number 4. Social awkwardness can actually be thought of as social procrastination. You see, you're putting off what you know you need to do as a human being, and that is engage and interact with other human beings. So you've got no momentum on yourself. If you've ever had writer's block, or you've procrastinated something that you know you need to do, like doing the laundry or doing the dishes or some project or task that you've just been putting off and off and off, that feeling of, I know I should be doing this, but I'm not going to, that feeling that you're getting, call that resistance, okay? And you can use that like a bit of a compass for a lot of things in life. When you feel that resistance, it's usually a sign that you should be doing that thing. Now, most people use some kind of a social crutch to get themselves out of that procrastination and into the momentum of being social. What kind of crutches do they use? They use things like alcohol, like I mentioned before. They use friends, other friends at a party, right? Most people only want to go to a party if there's other people that they already know there, right? Sort of use them as a base of operations to then, be social with and not be awkward and alone. People also use activities as a social crutch. Like guys in particular find it way easier to socialize if they're doing something. Playing sport, we're playing a board game, playing a video game, going on a hike, we're in the gym exercising together, right? We use an activity as like the medium through which we socialize. Now, social momentum is the magic trick to never running out of things to say. And here's the key to it. Here's this 4th exercise I'd like you to start cultivating. The instant you step into a new social environment, talk to somebody. Set a rule for yourself that you only have 3 seconds and count them down. The moment you're in a new social situation, 1, 2, in your head, don't say it out loud. 1, 2, 3. And by the time you've said 2 and 3, you should already be walking to a stranger to say something random. Hi, just let something come out of your mouth. And then, here's the kicker, once you talk to one person, then you immediately go and talk to the next person. This is how you cultivate that social momentum. And what you'll find is the more you do this, the more you train this as a reflex and as a response, you will get better at it. You will become naturally more charming and you will stop running out of things to say. The more of these interactions you can chain back to back to back to back to back, the more free-flowing you are going to be. You can think of this as a social flow state that you're going to be getting yourself into. Now, the thing is, naturally charismatic people have trained themselves to do this without consciously realizing it. So all you're doing here is copying what all these naturally charming people are doing anyway. As a perfect example, if you've ever lived in like an apartment complex where there's a big elevator and everyone always goes up and down it. Have you ever been in those elevators and there's always like some charming guy in the elevator who always just strikes up a random conversation or starts talking randomly about something in the elevator with other people in it? That's an example of someone who does this automatically, and they'd notice that they're doing it as the first thing they start the day with. You wake up, you leave your apartment, you get into an elevator and there's a bunch of strangers in there, you start talking to random people. That's the first social opportunity you've had that day, and you take advantage of it and you start that momentum. Because unfortunately, the momentum resets every day when you wake up, so you have to rebuild it every single day. But if you start the day correctly with the first random stranger you see, you say hi to them, and then eventually by the time you get to work, you're already in a more social mood. And then when you're done with work and you carry on with the rest of your evening doing other social things, you've had a whole day's worth of social momentum building up and up and up and up. And by the time you go out to, say, maybe a club or a restaurant or whatever, you're actually in a very social, charming mood. Now, here's the kicker for this entire thing. How do you hold yourself accountable to this and stop yourself from quitting and make sure you consistently follow through with all these exercises I've just told you to do? Here's how you do it. Find a way to get leverage on yourself. Get creative with this. Let me give you an example. I had a friend who was kind of socially awkward, and he was also a virgin, probably 12 years ago now. He gave me his charger to his laptop, and he told me, do not give me this charger back until I have lost my virginity. So basically, his laptop or whatever only had a 100% charge when he gave me the charger, and he could only like watch like 30 minutes of YouTube or something a day, or do 30 minutes of work or whatever, because otherwise his laptop would die and he couldn't keep doing it because I had the charger. And lo and behold, I think it only took him 2 or 3 weeks and he lost his virginity. Like, he magically found a way. Now, you can do something similar to someone you trust. Maybe it's a brother, a sister, your best friend, a housemate, only if you trust them. Give them like a giant chunk of your savings and say, you are to hold on to this and not give it back to me until I accomplish these goals. And I'm to report to you every day and tell you which of these things I've done. Oh, yes, I talked to this many people today. I did this many socially awkward things. I said hi to every ugly woman I saw today, etc., etc., etc. You have to find a way to get leverage on yourself and punish yourself for not doing it, and find someone else who can help hold you accountable to these goals that you're going to set for yourself. Now, the best part of all of this is once you develop these skills, you are going to come across women who find you attractive. But unless you know how to spot those signs, you might miss that opportunity. So check out this video over here where I go over the secret signs to know how she is into you.